Yeah. So she said, George, we have this thing now. What should we do? And can you verify it for us? And I said, all right, give me the time. I didn't make any headway until about 4:57 p.m., 3 minutes before news time. Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure if it weren't, if she never look and see a Mia call, she wouldn't take the call at 4:57. Because I found that funny to come and say, you have time for you to take call at 4:57 when news at 5 o'clock, a pressure time now. But anyway, so just to clarify that, look, I don't get anything more than substantively to give it to write a story, but I'm working on it. And I finally got all the information about after 11 last night. I was on the phone. Yeah? So what are we talking about, listeners? Because when I will cuss me now and say, boy, George, love talking a code. Yeah? And left out certain things. In this very difficult period for some folks in North Central St. Andrew on the JLP side, not difficult for some, but difficult for some, you have to be very careful how you report, because where there could be factions and where there are factions, then you're going to have one side trying to make another side or the other sides look bad to try to, advance their own case. And so you have to take things that you hear and run it through the sieve multiple times to extract the right information. We were told in that email that Tana referred to that Delano Seiverights, in fact, you know what? I'm going to find it and read it. I'm going to find it, Tana, and I'm going to read for the listeners what it is that was said to have happened yesterday, because that's what set in motion a series of things. So it says, is this true? There was a shooting incident involving Minister Seiveright. I hear the driver is ex-JDF marksman and put some rounds in a car load. A criminal, I try a thing. Them keeping it under wraps because them don't want no distraction. Politics. So I said, what? Something like that could have happened. The usual channels. Nothing. Silence. Nobody know nothing. Nobody know hear nothing. I said, where you get that from? First me I hear that. Yeah. Can't get to the man himself. Well, he responded last evening, Seiveright did. And he said in a statement that, here's what he said. He said, there was a shooting incident in the Lawrence Tavern area involving my driver, who was a former member of the military, and he responded appropriately to what appeared to be a threat. I was not present at the time, and none of my vehicles were involved. The incident occurred outside the constituency and took place after he had completed driver duties with me. Fortunately, no one was injured. From all indications, I do not believe the incident was politically motivated. Yeah? So, because that's the chatter that has been building up around this. Lord have mercy, those who are opposed to his declaration of candidacy for a selection exercise, if it comes to that, are making moves to frighten him, to intimidate him, and this is what is happening. Well, he has said no political victimization. He doesn't see anything to suggest that, and it was just an incident involving his driver, who did what he had to do appropriately, given his training and given the level of threat, and so forth. So I'm happy it's not more serious than that. Not
Yes.
that it was as that, because to how it postured, it would appear. And then when I started asking people yesterday about the incident, and then the theories started to raise. I said, oh, maybe it related to this, maybe it related to that. And the picture people were painting would suggest that it's a dangerous thing to seek to get the nod to represent the JLP in North Central St. Andrew after Carl Samuda. So the stories were wild. So I was very concerned about the issue that Seiveright has found himself in, and wanting to get to the truth of it before we went and reported it, because of course you want to get these things right and you don't want to be misled. So that's what he has said to clear up the issue. But beyond all of that, let me just tell the listeners this. Carl Samuda and North Central St. Andrew, based on what I know, Carl Samuda is in a pickle, Turner. He wants to go because Dr. Horace Chang says he's going. Listen to him say that. He wants to go because Dr. Horace Chang has said he's going. He wants to go because his family want him to go. His family, I understand, are saying, listen, you've done more than enough time now to relax yourself and move on fully to another phase of your life. You've given more than enough to this cause. Sometimes Carl Samuda himself wants to go because he himself feel like he has done enough. But there's another time when Carl Samuda, based on my understanding, wants to be a history maker. Yes, it's going to sound trivial to you, listeners, but it isn't to some people who view things a certain way. Carl Samuda, as things stand, is in a group of two as the longest serving MPs in Jamaica's history. In fact, when Dr. Chang made that statement about Carl Samuda and Mike Henry not contesting the next election, Nationwide's lead was the two longest serving MPs in Jamaica are calling quits, blah, blah, blah. That's how we led the story, yeah? It is my understanding that Samuda, on the days when he feels as if he wants to continue, is motivated by the distinction of being the longest serving member of parliament in Jamaica's history. And I'm saying again, people listening to this and I say, sure, no go sir, because that can't true. The information I have is that it is true, and that sometimes his mind is telling him that, listen, run the election, win the election, and then leave the seat, and then by-election it, and somebody gets it and move on, and you'll have one up on Mike Henry and everybody else who served for a very, very long time. It's as simple as that, and I'm comfortable with where I've gotten that information from. But on the other days when he doesn't feel as if he wants to continue, Seiveright is in this position of having been given a Senate seat, given a ministerial appointment, and now, as they would say, whop he back by the Labour Party. And is going to seek the nomination in a seat that people thought his interest in had been set aside. Interesting days ahead is all I'll say.